Your body isn't sick, it's crying out for something you haven't understood yet. Maybe you think it's just fatigue, a bit of tension in your shoulders, an ache that won't go away, an exhaustion that seems to have no cause. But what you're calling a symptom might actually be a living memory, a story that was never told with words, but keeps being relived in silence. While your mind moved on, your body got stuck, frozen, in the exact moment. Something was broken. You might have forgotten what happened, but your breath remembers your muscles, remember your posture, your heartbeat, even your bones. They all know every part of your body has become a code, a message written in pain. And the more you ignore it, the louder your body screams. Have you ever wondered why you feel that knot in your stomach for no reason, or why your jaw wakes up clenched? Even when you think you slept well, there is a reason, and it goes far beyond biomechanics or stress. The body is the last place trauma hides, and the first place it asks for help. In this video, you're going to discover how trauma shapes your energy, blocks your desires, and even distorts your sense of reality. And more than that, you'll begin to understand how each pain carries a hidden code that can be deciphered, released, and transformed. But that only happens when you stop treating your body like an enemy and start listening to it as the guardian of your deepest truth. There's a kind of pain that doesn't show up on tests but takes over your whole life. It doesn't just live in the mind, and it doesn't disappear with positive thinking. It settles in the body and keeps vibrating until you finally listen with presence. This is silent trauma, not the kind you remember, but the kind your body never forgot. Science tries to explain it with neurotransmitters, hormones, brain connections, but there's something that goes beyond medical language. Ancient cultures already knew. The body is a living energy field where experiences turn into frequency. Every part of you, your shoulders, your solar plexus, your hips, your tailbone, holds a layer of history. They're not just muscles, they're archives. They're not just tensions, they're protection codes, what your mind repressed. Your body translated into symptoms, and until those records are read, you keep manifesting from fear, from blocks, from defense. That's the key. Most people miss your outer reality as being shaped by unprocessed emotional biology, and repeating mantras won't work if your body is still vibrating in survival mode. That's why so many people search and search but never change, because they try to heal the mind without freeing the body. Thoth called the body the sacred mirror of the embodied soul. In Hermetic teachings, we learn that everything vibrates, everything moves, even the things you believe are stuck. And when you understand how trauma encoded your energy centers, everything shifts. You stop sabotaging yourself without even realizing it. You stop repeating patterns you don't even recognize. And you finally start manifesting with clarity, presence, and power. What will be revealed in this video is more than knowledge. It's a hidden map that connects emotion, body, and destiny. And when you learn to read this map, you don't just heal. You change the entire field where your reality unfolds. The ancients didn't separate body, soul, and mind. They saw one single organism vibrating across multiple layers to them. The flesh was a language, pain, a prophecy, tension. A sign in Egypt, healing temples were built, using sacred geometries that activated specific centers in the body. Initiates didn't begin with the spirit. They began with the body. They knew you can't reach the divine if your physical gateways are compromised. The scribe of truth taught that every part of the human body is an extension of universal laws. The throat, for example, represented the power of creation through the voice, and its blockage pointed to self-P projection. The tailbone was the seal of primal identity, the link between spirit and matter. To Hermes, there could be no spiritual evolution without somatic integration. The body was the first tablet, and the records inscribed on it could not be ignored. Hermetic wisdom wasn't theoretical, it was vibrational. You had to feel the laws operating through your skin, your blood, your bones. When an initiate entered a temple, they weren't greeted with explanations, but with bodily rites. Breath, sound, movement, silence. Everything was used to reopen the channels of perception, because only an awakened body could access the higher planes. This knowledge was broken, distorted, and forgotten. Science went one way. Spirituality went another. But the truth was never divided. We were the ones who became separated from it, and that's why we got sick. That's why we feel empty, even when surrounded by information. We are disconnected from the original code, but that code still pulses within you. It's at the center of your chest, at the base of your spine, in the silent contraction you call normal tension, but which in truth is a calling. The same calling the ancients heard when they sat in silence to listen to their own body today. Neuroscience confirms what the ancients already knew, without devices or labs. Cutting-edge studies show that trauma doesn't just stay in the memory, it settles in the body. Bessel van der, psychiatrist and researcher, revealed that the traumatized brain shifts into a continuous survival mode, even without any present threat. The nervous system behaves as if danger is still there. The body lives on high alert. Breathing shortens muscles, tightens the gut, loses balance. It's as if time stopped inside the body's physiology. Peter Levine, creator of the Somatic experiencing method, observed that trauma healing begins with the body, not with words. He noticed that animals, when faced with trauma, release stress through tremors and instinctive movements. We humans suppress that release and it makes us sick. Stephen Porges, with his polyvagal theory, showed that the vagus nerve regulates how we respond to the world. When trauma blocks this channel, we lose the ability to feel safe and connected, and as long as the body doesn't feel safe, it won't allow vital energy to fully flow. Science now confirms that repressed emotions alter the immune system hormones and even genetic expression. The field of epigenetics reveals trauma doesn't just leave marks, it shapes the genes we activate or silence. In other words, the body carries the past into the present, and until this is acknowledged, reality continues to be shaped from that distortion. The bridge between science and spirituality is being rebuilt. What was once called mystical is now being mapped in tests and experiments. The truth has always been there. All that was missing was the sensitivity to see it and the courage to feel it. There is no real healing without presence. And presence isn't just being aware in your thoughts, it's being aware in your body. The first step on this journey isn't doing something, it's deeply feeling what you've learned to avoid, because every point of tension is your body's attempt to protect you from something that once hurt too much. But what once protected you now holds you back to release it. You need to inhabit your body with fresh eyes, not as a problem to be fixed, but as a vibrational field to be heard. Technique 1. Archetypal somatic. Listening, lie down or sit in silence. Close your eyes, choose a part of your body where you feel pain, tension, or discomfort. Now, instead of trying to relax or fix it, simply ask, "What are you trying to show me?" Wait, don't demand verbal answers. Just observe the sensations. The body responds through vibrations, subtle impulses, images, blurry memories. Don't try to interpret, just welcome what comes. Technique 2. Vibrational naming. Give a symbolic name to the sensation. You felt it doesn't have to be logical. It can be something like ancestral weight, invisible rope, or contained fire. Naming brings the pain out of the unconscious and into the light of awareness. To name it is to access the code, and once a code is accessed, it can be transmuted. Technique 3. Dissolving breath. Inhale for 4 counts. Exhale for 8. As you exhale, visualize this sensation, leaving your body like a dark mist. Don't force it out. Simply allow it to go. The body doesn't need to be pushed. It needs to feel safe in order to release. That's the moment when energy begins to flow again, and every cell realizes the danger has passed. You're accessing something most people never dare to touch. a deep intimacy with your own vibrational field. At this point, it's no longer about fixing a symptom. It's about reconfiguring your body as a living portal of manifestation. Trauma is not an ending. It's an interruption in your energy line. And now you're going to reconnect that line with awareness technique for archetypal body repositioning. Slowly, stand up, stand with your feet, parallel, eyes closed. Let your body show you where it feels stuck. Notice any stiffness in your shoulders, your legs, your neck. Now move as if you're being guided from within, not to perform, but to release. Make micro adjustments with full awareness. Rotate your hips. Open your chest gently. Tilt your head. This gesture isn't just physical, it's symbolic. You're repositioning your vibrational identity, letting go of the postures you once took on to survive, and that no longer serve you. Now technique 5, somatic declaration of release. Touch the part of your body that holds the most tension. It might be your stomach, your throat, or your tailbone. Keep your hand there and say, either out loud or silently, I acknowledge what you've held for me, and I release you. Stay with this affirmation as you breathe for at least 2 minutes. Repeat it as many times as needed. This is a ritual of vibrational return. You are giving back to the field what was never yours to carry, and at the same time you are reclaiming your inner space. You no longer need to live in a body built for defense. You can begin to live in a body made for creation. Now that you've activated deep listening, named the code, and initiated the release, it's time to imprint a new frequency into the body. Trauma leaves vibrational holes, empty spaces where vital energy no longer flows. If you only remove the pain, but don't place a new vibration there, the void ends up being filled by the same old patterns. That's why the final step is the conscious imprinting of a new energetic signature. Technique 6, intentional encoding through body archetypes. Choose an archetype that represents what you want to embody: courage, confidence, sensuality, presence. Now ask yourself, where does this archetype live in my body? If it's courage, it might live in your chest. If it's confidence, in your solar plexus. If it's presence, in your hips. Touch that point with both hands, close your eyes, and begin to breathe. As if you are feeding this new energy with your oxygen, visualize that area lighting up, gaining weight, strength, and vibrational density. You are reprogramming your posture, your magnetism, your frequency of attraction. Your body begins to recognize this new identity as safe and starts to express it naturally. Technique 7, vibrational closing ritual. At the end of all these practices, sit in silence. Place your hands at the center of your chest. Take a deep breath and say, I close the cycle of defense. I activate the cycle of presence. This vibrational seal tells your nervous system that a new path has been opened, not just mentally, but biologically. The practice is complete, and with it, a new field of manifestation begins to emerge from your body, not as a thought, but as a living reality. You're not just healing symptoms, you're reclaiming your body as the sacred ground of your creative consciousness. Liam didn't remember any major traumas. His childhood seemed normal. The family was functional, nothing out of the ordinary. But there was something there. Always had been a constant feeling of not belonging, as if his body had never truly felt like home. He slept well, but woke up exhausted. He took care of his health, but still felt an emptiness in his chest, and above all, he feared silence. In the silence, his body spoke, and he didn't want to listen. One day during a guided practice, the instructor said, "Touch where it hurts and stay there." He placed his hand on his stomach. It was just discomfort, he thought, but something broke open inside. An image appeared clear as a lucid dream. Him at 8 years old, holding back tears so he wouldn't worry his mother, swallowing fear, anger, and everything left unsaid. His stomach wasn't sick. It was full of memories he had never digested in that moment. He didn't cry. He trembled, his entire body like an animal coming back to life after being frozen. Liam understood. Then trauma wasn't what happened. It was what he had to put on hold in order to go on from that day forward. He began to listen, not with his mind but with his skin, with the rhythm of his breath, with the silence between heartbeats. Every part of his body became an oracle. His shoulders spoke of inherited guilt, his hips of caged desire, his throat of truths never spoken. And the more he listened, the lighter his body became, and the clearer his reality grew. The patterns stopped repeating. The anxiety dissolved. Creation began because he was no longer trying to escape. He was finally present within himself. And that was the portal. The body stopped being a battlefield and became the sacred altar where consciousness came back to live. This is where many people give up, not because they don't care, but because they can't feel. They close their eyes and feel nothing. They try to listen to their body, but only hear silence, and soon they think, this isn't for me. But what feels like a block is actually protection. Your body isn't ignoring you. It's waiting for you to come. With respect for years, maybe decades, it was taught to stay quiet, to ignore pain, swallow tears, resist the natural impulse. And now as you try to reconnect, it hesitates. This is the challenge. You want to listen, but your body still doesn't know if it can trust you, and it only opens up when it feels safe. Don't try to force an immediate release. Don't chase intense sensations. Healing doesn't come from performance. It comes from presence. The secret is to stay even when it feels like nothing is happening, because it's in the space between sensations that the body begins to trust again. And when it does, it reveals a tingling, a shiver, a sudden emotion. Small signs that say, the frequency is shifting. Transmutation begins with consistency, not intensity. Remember, trauma shaped the body for years. It's only natural that it needs time to open up again. But it will, because the body was made to self-regulate, to restore, to regenerate. And all it needs is for you to stop fighting it and start inhabiting it with truth. This is the turning point, when you no longer demand that your body respond quickly, but instead honor it as the living sanctuary of your reconnection with what's real. Your body was never an obstacle. It was always the way throughout your life. It has tried to speak to you, not with words, but with racing heartbeats, silent tightness, involuntary postures. It doesn't want punishment, fixing, or discipline. It wants presence. It wants you to come back, because everything you seek, clarity, peace, connection, manifestation begins where your consciousness resides. And if your consciousness doesn't live in the body, it lives in exile today. You accessed something few. Dare to face the truth that your reality is shaped not only by what you think, but by what you feel. Store and silently ignore every discomfort, every stiffness, every pain is a call for reconnection. And when you honor that something shifts, not in a magical way, but in a living one, because the body is intelligent, it is sacred, it is faithful. It does not lie, it does not pretend, it remembers, and it remembers until you're ready to remember too. To remember who you were before the defense, before the tension, before the fear that taught you to hide within yourself. That's where it all begins, in the choice to return to inhabit, to release. As Friedrich Nietzsche wrote, there is more wisdom in your body than in your deepest philosophy. You don't need to understand everything, but you do need to feel with courage what you never allowed yourself to touch. Because true transformation doesn't happen in the mind. It happens the moment you decide to fully live inside yourself, not as someone who survives the past, but as someone who manifests with their whole body the reality they've finally chosen to inhabit. If this content touched something deep within you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. This simple gesture helps more people access knowledge that transforms not just the mind, but the body and reality. I'd love to know how this journey resonated with you. Share in the comments. I honor the body as the sacred altar of my new reality. This phrase seals your vibrational presence and activates the field of conscious reconnection. Share this video with someone who needs to remember that the body holds secrets the mind alone cannot reach, and keep diving deeper. Click on the screen and watch another transformative video from the channel. Each new insight you access helps reorganize the frequencies around you. Remember, healing is not a destination. It is the moment you choose to come home.